Hey there, it's Surging Chaos. I'm excited to say that my channel probably won't be having bursts of activity and inactivity anymore. I got the idea to do this about 2 weeks ago, but I'm just now finding the time to do it. Basically, I'm going to be doing a little vlog for Elder Dragon Highlander that I'll be uploading weekly on my YouTube channel. I'm hoping to shoot for sometime on Friday for doing a new episode each week and uploading it, since that's the best day for me when I'm not really busy with school. What sorts of things will this vlog entail? The best answer I can give is that it will encompass almost everything about EDH in general. I'll try to get to what I can in each week. I'll be focusing on specific things, but they'll almost always be about the EDH format in general. Whatever crosses my mind, or whatever I really want to talk about, is what you'll be hearing from me. I should note that I don't have a webcam, it's mic only. I also apologize that the sound might be a little squirrely. So I'm deciding to kick off my very first episode by thinking about the EDH ban list. Recently, a new thread popped up for discussing the EDH ban list on MTG Salvation, and one of the cards that was on the thread really intrigued me more than the others, Kokusho the Evening Star. If you're not familiar with the card's history, it was banned on EDH on February 28, 2008, along with Recurring Nightmare. The EDH Rules Committee, who upholds the ban list and maintains the rules for EDH, gave the following explanation for banning Kokusho. Quote, "This was less of a slam dunk, as there was some discussion that with Recurring Nightmare gone, it was at a tolerable power level. However, even without Recurring Nightmare, the first time Kokusho goes to the graveyard represents a 20-point life swing in a 4-player game, and there are many, many ways to get multiple uses out of him. Too many games are being swung by Kokusho, and he was far too often an automatic tutor target. In the end, we decided that his power level in EDH is far too above both what his mana cost would indicate and his power level in normal games of Magic, and so he is getting banned as well." Close quote. I should put the decision to ban Kokusho in some relevant context. He was banned at the end of February of 2008. During this time, EDH was still more or less in its prenatal stages. The format hadn't yet exploded on the scene, and the Rules Committee was still tinkering with the rules as well. The decision to keep monocolored decks from playing half off-color hybrid decks didn't even go into effect until June of 2008. Times have changed. We're in the middle of October of 2010, and EDH is played almost everywhere. The format has spread like wildfire, and it is no longer a random format that a bunch of judges play in their free time. Nearly 2.5 years later, after Kokusho was banned, the format has developed considerably, and many new sets have been released since then that have greatly impacted EDH. The current reasoning for why Kokusho stays on the ban list is the same as it was back in February of 2008. He over-centralizes the game. I should point out, though, that because the format wasn't even close to becoming developed back in this time, it would make sense that Kokusho was recurred several times over the course of a game. Nobody played any relevant graveyard hate back during this time, and to further compact the situation, this was before we got good graveyard hosers like Relic of Progenitus, Bojuka Bog, and preemptive hosers such as Sadistic Sacrament. Most people today play at least some form of graveyard hate in their EDH decks because graveyard recursion is easily one of the most abused elements of EDH due to how multiplayer games require you to spread out your resources, and how set games tend to drag on when people start to run out of gas. Kokusho getting recurred over and over ad nauseum is so 2008. Kokusho today would probably trigger once, maybe twice, maybe a couple times for that, and then someone exiles the guy and he's gone for good. If anything, the one card that would generate a one-card recursion engine all by itself that filled Kokusho and many other nasty creatures with comes with playabilities, like Sundering Titan Terraston for example, was the one card that deserved to go, Recurring Nightmare. The other argument for banning Kokusho that stems off from the he over-centralizes the game argument is the fact that he is too swingy and powerful for EDH. This is where I'd have to disagree. Kokusho is certainly powerful because of the magnification of his triggered ability in multiplayer games, but I would argue that he is far from the most broken of cards that can be abused and or to over-centralize a game. Every time Kokusho goes to the graveyard, you lose 5 life. Losing 5 life really isn't the end of the world. It's not like you're getting a 10 life reset for Magister Sphinx or Soren Markov. With 40 life to start out, a player can easily take many hits from Kokusho's life drain and still be just fine. This gets into the Kokusho player gaining usually 20 plus life per activation, depending on the number of players in the game. I won't argue that it's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but what's that player ultimately doing when his life total balloons to triple digits? Life gain is actually very, very weak in EDH. General damage ignores life totals. Milling has always cared less about life. Many other win conditions in EDH also bank on the opponent conceding due to the game state instead of life totals, such as the case with infinite combos, hard locks, prison elements, and so on. And just recently as Scars of Mirrodin, poison has emerged as another way to kill someone without reducing a life total to 0. When it all comes down to it, I believe Kokusho deserves another chance in a developed EDH format with many more people playing Graveyard Hate. If Rofellos, of all cards, could get unbanned and stay unbanned for over a year because the Rules Committee believed he deserved a second chance, then I think Kokusho rightly deserves a second chance as well. Let's see where Kokusho stands without recurring Nightmare to field a card. To those who would fear that Kokusho would over-centralize the game if he were unbanned, I think you would be a bit surprised at how he wouldn't seriously impact EDH as much as you think. After all, we have cards that drop every opponent's hand, Myojo of Knight's Reach, generate 2 extra turns, Time Stretch, take over someone's turn, usually several times, Mind Slaver, and 15/15s that bowl over almost every player that aren't banned, Emrakul. Give Kokusho another chance. I want to see the ban list get smaller, not bigger. Part of what makes EDH so much fun is the ability to play with so many powerful cards and so many decks due to the small ban list. And with that, that does it for this week. I still don't have a definitive idea on what I'm going to think about talking next week, so I'm interested in hearing what you want me to tackle next. Leave your comments on both here and on the thread I have linked in the video description. Thanks for listening, and see you guys next week.